Australia, and we're on a ferry ride. We've gotten settled in our Airbnb, and it's taken us a few hours to get our bearings, but we think we know what we're doing. We're going to do public transportation on this leg of the trip. We're in Sydney, Australia, and we're headed to the Opera House and the CBD, the harbor. But before that, we're going to take a tour on this lovely ferry. The ferries run here every 15 minutes, and we just got on one with our card. And it's in our neighborhood after walking downhill quite some time. We love it. This is our first day of touring in Sydney, and we can't wait to see what we're gonna see.
Yeah, so we're gonna show you some of the sights from the boat and then when we land.
Life on Vaca, Australia.
So far we've been in a ride share. We've also been on a city bus, and today we just got off of our first ferry.
We landed in the CBD, and now it's time to explore. First stop, the Opera House. This is kind of like a river walk or a bay walk. Big news here in Sydney this weekend is that Virgin Voyages has put a cruise ship over here, the Resilient Lady, and it's all over the news. Virgin hasn't done a business venture here since 2008. See that bridge right there? That's one that you could get on top of, and Sir Richard did that on the maiden voyage of Virgin Voyages. She is right here in the center of it all. The ferries, the people, the action, the birds, the nature, the beautiful weather, the turquoise sea, Pacific Ocean, the bays, and on our way to the Opera House. The Sydney Opera House is celebrating 50 years, their 50-year anniversary. There's some outstanding performances. You can take a helicopter tour, and as you'll see, it's a bunch of smaller buildings. When you look at it from the ocean, it looks like it's just like this big monstrosity auditorium, but it's actually several smaller buildings. About 1,800 performances take place every year, ranging from opera to ballet and theater to contemporary performances showcasing cabaret, comedy, and dance. We had the option to schedule a private tour or to actually book an event, a symphony or a performance within the Opera House, but we opted not to because there's just so many more things we wanted to do. While we were at the Sydney Opera House, we enjoyed a beautiful lunch.
Well, we've been walking for a couple of hours now. We kind of toured the whole area here, and got a real feel for the Opera House, learned a little bit about its history, and of course with the anniversary going on right now, there's so many activities scheduled that it's really a hub of activity. We're kind of taking a break, getting some breakfast, and gonna take some time just to relax and enjoy the views here.
I'm having a lovely breakfast. First of all, I have this mocha, and it's hot, and it's got the little design on top. And I'm having the salmon Benedict. Looks delicious. Can't wait to have some breakfast.
This is the iconic steel bridge of Sydney Harbor. It's one of the largest steel structures in the world, and it's affectionately called the coat hanger by the locals. I don't know, can you see it? Kind of looks like a coat hanger.
And you also can take a tour and put on your rappelling gear, your harness, and your helmet, and you can buy a tour up to the top of that bridge and stand on the top at sunset, which of course Sir Richard did, but that wasn't our cup of tea. All the museums in Sydney are free, and we like art, we love museums, so we'll be going to them. We went on to tour the Museum of Contemporary Art. Of course, they wouldn't let us do photographs in there, so.
No, we could not, and we didn't see any major works, but it's actually a very local kind of exhibit with local artists, meaning Australian artists, but a lot of indigenous artwork was in there.
There was one artist who was native, and his family had been treated poorly, and I think that made the most impact. His story and his works, his lino cuts and his poems and stuff. But there were also some modern living artists, a lot of living artists that had some very contemporary exhibits, like that sound exhibit.
That sound exhibit was really kind of bizarre. I'm not sure I got everything the artist was trying to portray there, but you know, we tried.
It's so awesome to be in the heart of Sydney's most exclusive neighborhoods. We've heard there's a lot of movie stars, and the real estate here can go up to like $3.5 million. The architecture has been beautiful, the Queenslanders, and it's got a Victorian touch, I think. Very, very artsy, and we really have immersed ourselves in this lifestyle.
Oh, sure. Just walking around is a sheer pleasure. The architecture is very quaint and cottage-like, and exactly pristinely cared for and manicured. The gardens are wonderful. Of course, there's flowering plants everywhere here, and it's absolutely a serene, beautiful place. I mean, I'd love to live here.
The lifestyle seems to be a slow pace. The people enjoy walking. There's not a lot of cars on the roads, but the public transportation is exquisite. And you either take a bus or a ferry into the CBD, which is behind us. It only takes about 15 minutes, or up to the village for groceries and supplies. It's nice.
There's plenty of beaches here. How many are there?
I think there's over 100 beaches in Sydney.
And you know how we are with beaches.
One day we went to Manly Beach. Walking down the Corso, this is the way to Manly Beach. The way to Manly Beach, about 3 blocks this way. To the sea. And that was eye-opening. There were a lot of young people there. We were there on a Friday. It looked like a lot of school groups had been dropped off in buses, and the place was just bustling with kids. There was a big surf. I think Duke from Hawaii made that beach famous with a surfing competition that he brought here to Sydney. So that was interesting.
Yeah, that was a very crowded beach, lots of sand, good water, but absolutely crowded to beyond my comfort level. The star beach of Sydney is Bondi Beach, right?
Bondi Beach was absolutely lovely. We spent a day there, a whole day. It took us about an hour and a half by the time we went on the ferry. Then we got on a local bus in the interior that waved in and out. But even the bus trip was an experience for us. We'd like to take all that in.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we made it.
And this beach is really different than Manly Beach. It feels more like a Miami type beach. I mean, it's very cosmopolitan with lots of ritzy shops and eateries around there. Of course, you can experience all of that, but just the lay of the land and the beach.
The cafe was so romantic. Kind of made us feel like a Caribbean vibe or even European. Had lunch for a couple of hours and enjoyed that before we actually went on the beach and laid out and got in the water there. Well, I got the fish burger and it's looking good. I'm gonna see if it's anything like the fish and chips I had on Balmoral Beach. And let's try these. These are chips. We call them French fries, but it's after 12 here and say this is breakfast or brunch. So I have a feeling it's gonna be good. Fresh.
So I got the chicken burger, and it is of course fried, but looks to be a little more elevated than a Kentucky Fried Chicken burger. So we'll see how it tastes, and then I can measure up to what I'm used to.
There was the first time that I saw a real cultural mix, like a lot of Europeans.
The waves are really nice and calm, and the water was a little chilly, but I got in, and the sun is so hot here that once you lay out for about 10 minutes, you're ready to get into any kind of water. So it wasn't that bad.
A lot of shallows, so there was a lot of babies there and a lot of kids, but the vibe was awesome.
The air temperature is pretty warm today. It's actually going to be one of the hottest days we've ever experienced here. But it's been overcast and a little cloudy lately, so this has been our first great warm day in a few days. The water temperature, however, is pretty chilly, so we'll see if we'll be able to get into there today. This is a pretty popular beach, and you can see why. The sand, the quality of the water, the amount of amenities and restaurants there are here. The beach is absolutely a cool thing to do here, and you can tell because there's so many people enjoying it today. And the beach here is sloped in a very gentle way that allows you to go very far before you can even get into the waist-deep water. So it's calm, it's serene, you get a little wave action, but all in all, a very pleasant beach day and accommodating to all types of people.
This is world class. Life on Vaca.